There's already one thumbs down. Ah, there's always one dick in the crowd. Nice to see you. I just want to let you know before we get started, Car Cost Canada is the major sponsor of the channel. If you're not already a member, go over there and sign up using the promo code MOTORMOUTH and become an expert member, opening up searches to find prices of vehicles. We're going to get to a video question in a moment. Just want to let you know there's going to be some new videos dropping over the next couple of days. So Volkswagen has a new vehicle called, I almost want to say Taos. It's Taos, like in Taos, New Mexico. So this is a new small SUV. It's going to be smaller than Tiguan. So the video will be dropping tomorrow afternoon, evening, depending on if you're on the East Coast or not. The following day, there's going to be a video coming out on the all-new Acura MDX. So in this computer, I have all of the pictures for both cars. So it's going to be interesting to watch, and you will see the videos and give your feedback when we get those out. So tomorrow is Volkswagen Taos, and the day after that is MDX. Also, some information, I am going to be heading out on the road to Toronto, staying in Canada. Actually, not in Toronto, north of Toronto, driving the new GV80, the Genesis GV80. There's been a lot of interest from you and from a lot of people about the new Genesis SUV. I've seen it in person at the Toronto Auto Show. It was also at the airport in Toronto. Genesis has a partnership with YYZ or Pearson Airport, and it was there. So. And there's a little special something I'm going to get to do while I'm in Toronto. They're actually going to give me the new G80 as well. So that's all pretty exciting. All right, let's get into our question. There was somebody who sent me a picture of their Acura TL, and I can't find it in my email. So if I've missed any of your cars that you've sent in, pictures of your cars, please resend them, because I don't know what I've done with it. I don't know where it is. If you want to get your car featured here on the live show, send it to Zach at motormouth.ca, ZACK at motormouth.ca. Okay, here's the video question.
Hi Zach, hi Andrea, and fans of Motormouth Canada. My name's Skellington, and I'm talking to you from Algonquin Lake, Little Green Island, Big Green Island. My question, Zach, is all enthusiasts love sport wagons. Today I'm driving a 323 BMW XI 6-speed manual. I would like to know, what is your favorite top 3 sport wagons? Mercedes, BMW, or even any of the Americans? Thanks.
All right, a couple of things in there. First of all, thank you to Killington Link for sending in the video. He had a few tries to get it to me because of anyway. He finally got it to me. He says it's the first time he's ever used his selfie camera, so well done. And the lake he's at, Algonquin Lake, is where I spent all of my summers as a kid. So my aunt and uncle have a cottage on Algonquin Lake. And he referenced those two islands, Little Green Island and Big Green Island. So I spent all of my summers on that lake on one of those islands. And my aunt and cousins still have it with their cousins. And it's just a magical place. So it's great to see you up at Algonquin Lake. That's just on the edge of Algonquin Park, if you know anything about Canadian geography. And the other thing I forgot to mention is it's Thanksgiving here in Canada. If you're in the United States, your Thanksgiving coming up at the end of November. In Canada, we have ours at the beginning of October. So it's the second Monday in October, and American Thanksgiving is the third Monday, I believe, in November. And if you look at the history of the Canadian and American Thanksgiving, they're all over the map. The dates have been widely varied. So we have ours now. So to your question, Killington, I would suggest that they're more high-performance wagons. I like your 3 Series wagon. That's a great car. But if I was going to pick my ultimate wagons, it would be the new RS6 Avant from Audi. Whenever I go to Europe and I see the RS6s, just think it's a beautiful car. The other one is the Mercedes-Benz AMG E63S. Might just be the fastest utility on the planet. And then one that's near and dear to my heart is the BMW 5 Series E39 540. which was not sold as a manual, but if I had my way, I would buy one and convert it to a manual. There you go. Okay, we have lots and lots of questions coming in. And there's still one thumbs. There was a thumbs down before I even started. Somebody isn't happy. Somebody is not happy. Barrick is here saying, let me just close this. Hang on. There you go. Looking at getting a new hatchback, either a Civic Type R or Veloster N. Both have manuals, but the Hyundai is $5,000 cheaper. Which is a better car to get? Thanks. They're both fantastic products. I've driven them both. I've driven them both with, they're only available with a manual for the Type R. I would give, my gut feelings says Type R. Only because it's just a long evolution of engineering that has been making the Civic. It is just such a great car. The Type R engine is fantastic. The delivery of power is so precise. It's just a wonderful car. Veloster N is great. Don't get me wrong. But the reason the Civic Type R is $5,000 more, there is a reason why it's more. And I truly believe that I think that it has a much higher following in the marketplace, which means resale value is probably going to be better. But if it was me and I had to choose between the two, I'd be the Type R. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yeah, that's right. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. We had turkey last night with my mother-in-law and leftovers tonight. Hot, open-faced turkey sandwiches. Love it. Some people don't like leftovers. I love especially turkey. Mark says, happy Thanksgiving. My wife and I are thinking about replacing our 03 VW Passat. It's got 110,000 kilometers. What do you think? A 2021 A3 or 2021 Audi A3 or A3, which is not released yet in Canada. So if I was waiting to look at an Audi A3, I would certainly wait for the new one. I wouldn't be getting the current model. It is quite an old car now. It is dated. It's based on the Volkswagen Golf platform, as you're probably aware. There's nothing wrong with the car. I just think that the new one is going to be a lot better. And if you're not in a rush, I mean, that TDI is going to keep running. Wait for the new one to come, if you can. Venza, Lexus outside, Toyota inside. We won't be getting it in Australia. Well, that's too bad. I really like the look of the Venza. Where is it? There it is there, the Venza. Yeah, beautiful car. Inside, I thought was a bit of a hot mess, but yeah, it's going to sell well. Absolutely. Another happy Thanksgiving. Richard's back. Nice to see you, Richard. You mentioned a while back that Mustang GT would be a good replacement for a Golf two-door. What about a 1 or 2 series or an Audi A5 S5, used or new? Which model? I would say that if you're going to replace a GTI, I would go with the 2 series and go for either a 235 or a 240. The best car in the BMW lineup, for sure. Best value, great car, and that's what I would certainly pick up. Hey, we got a super chat here. Beer check. I'm having a Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. Great. If you like them flowery. I've never heard of that. That sounds like quite a mouthful. But thank you for the super chat. If anybody else wants to get a super chat, you can type away down below and support the channel. I'm down for that. And where's Jack with my beer? Let me text him. Jack. Beer, please. And you'll get an update on sports as well. It feels like a Sunday, but it's a Monday because of the long weekend here. What would you pick as a daily driver? A Corolla hatch manual transmission, Honda Civic Sport manual transmission, Mazda 3 hatchback manual transmission. Thanks so much. It's interesting that you pick the Civic Sport with the manual transmission, because we just had the Sport with the CVT, and the video will be coming out this upcoming Saturday. And wonderful handling car, but at that price, I would just spend a few $1,000s more and get a GTI. You haven't put GTI in there. Get a Volkswagen Golf GTI. It is the gold standard for fun hatchbacks. A Corolla hatchback is down on power. I see Civic sedan sport. I'm missing that. So yeah, Mazda 3. Okay, of those, I would say the Mazda. That's what I would choose. When will we ever meet the other son? He's just too cool for this. And he's rarely home. He's home now, but yeah, I don't know. He doesn't really want to be part of this. Hey Zach, your favorite midsize SUV under $60,000? I would suggest that I love the Grand Cherokee. I think now, if you can clarify, Orion, are you talking about 3-row utility, 7-passenger, or 2-row? That really makes a big difference. Thoughts on the new 2022 Volkswagen Golf GTI? Well, I think it's going to be better than the current generation GTI. It's going to have more power. It's going to be a better car. I do not like the interior as much as the current car because it doesn't have a volume knob on the radio. I mean, it's not going to stop me from buying the car, but it really is a pain in the ass. Any idea when the WRX and STI will be available, when the new one is coming? Apparently, there's rumblings it's going to be happening soon. But I was on a forum and I saw somebody chatting about that, but nothing official. We have to wait and see. Oh, come on in, Jack. Speak of the devil. There you go, Jack. Have a seat. People are asking why your younger brother doesn't want to come on the show.
I don't know. He's never home.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And what's going on? Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I've already told you the Seahawks. After that, 95-yard drive in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Now, what about the Bills? Are they going to play tomorrow?
I think so. It's at like 4.
But
I don't see why they wouldn't.
But COVID? Are they getting COVID canceled?
I think they'll still play.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
good job on the beer.
Yeah.
Nice job on that. You bought me a Peroni. Nice.
I don't know. I just took what was ever.
You took what was there. Whatever first. Well, good. Well done, sir. Thank you. Okay, this is a subscriber sip. I take a sip. You subscribe if you're new to this. Ah, that reminds me of Italy, huh? Sounds good. Do you think 997.2 is a good buy now, or would you wait to see if prices would drop even more? I'm not sure where you live, but in Canada, the prices of these things are not going down. I had a conversation about this with my buddy at Core Cars. I put a Boxster Spider video up this morning. He lent me the car for the day, talking about the values of used Porsches because the Canadian dollar is so weak. There's no cars being brought up from the United States. It doesn't make any financial sense to do it. So the values of used cars in the Canadian market is basically flat. I was looking 3 years ago at a Boxster S, like a 2013 Boxster S. The price is exactly the same as it was 3 years ago. So I don't think you're going to see any real erosion of values of that car. I think it's a wonderful machine. It would be the one that I would choose if I was going to pick that generation. Would be a 09 and newer. Yeah, wonderful car. But they are going to depreciate, but they're not going to depreciate very quickly. And it's the one thing that I always stress about Porsches is that I call it the dollars in, dollars out. They're very expensive cars to buy, but you get a lot of that money back when you go to sell them. They just hold their value better than most. That's why. Bruce is saying people complain about 20-inch tires on the Passport, but it's a midsize SUV. What's the issue? Rough ride, poor mileage? I think one of the reasons is that the Passport kind of has this rugged, go-anywhere look to it, but it's not designed to be a rugged, go-anywhere utility. And people are probably saying 20-inch wheels is not what you would want if you were going to do any kind of off-roading. You want a different size wheel and tire. One of the problems I have is the wheels are dark. I don't like dark wheels on SUVs. I like I like silver wheels. Yeah, so I think that's maybe the reason that they're thinking it's got kind of a rugged, outdoorsy attitude, but those wouldn't be the wheels and tires you'd want to do that. What do you make of California and other jurisdictions around the world planning to ban the sale of non-zero emission cars in 10, 15, 20 years, etc.? How realistic you think it is? Well, I think that this is a real attack on poor people. I mean, really is. I mean, this is a classic case of elitist government leaders thinking that they know better than everybody else, and that because they're really not, they're totally out of touch with how people live their lives. And this is California. Have you ever been to California? Have you ever driven around and seen some of the crappy cars that are out there? There's a lot of people that live in California that have very little money, and you're going to force them to buy an electric car? That makes no sense to me. Mandating no gasoline or diesel cars or whatever it is by a certain date is going to jack the prices of vehicles up, and it's going to be a real attack on the poor. Are we going to have a $15,000 or $20,000 electric car? No, we're not. And I don't want governments telling me how to live my life and what I can drive and what I can't drive. I think that's a terrible idea. Tanya's saying, how about a new Palisade or Telluride night shadow review? Listen, I've been waiting to get the Palisade. I was supposed to have a Palisade a month ago, and a week before they canceled it. They're waiting for it to come in from Korea. So yeah, it's on a boat somewhere. When it gets here, I'll let you know. Bruce, sorry. I used to watch you on Global. Glad to see your YouTube show. Well, thank you. Yeah, if you're not aware, I used to do morning news here. I did it for almost 10 years. I don't miss that at all. Getting up at 4 a.m. to do the morning weather. Sucked. I'm not a morning person. Hi, Zach. Why doesn't Honda offer the CR-V with panoramic roof in Canada or US, while in Europe they have it offered with panoramic roof since the 4th generation model? Not exactly true. Panoramic roof is available on the Canadian CR-V, not in the United States. But then the opposite is true. In the United States, they have the hybrid, but we don't get it in Canada. Part of the reason is that the CR-V is made in Canada. And the opposite is true also of RAV4. For example, in the United States, you can get a RAV4 with a big panel roof, but in Canada, you can't. Both vehicles are made in Canada, but I guess depending on what the tooling is, it limits the availability. Robert is saying, hey, Zach, have you any news on the two small Utes trucks from Ford, Maverick and Santa Cruz? No, I don't have any info on that. I'm sorry, I don't. Why is the new Sorento 3 rows? No choice. Telluride has that. Well, Sorento has always been a tweener. It's always been a between two categories. And it's sort of like a compact utility plus. And it's probably a strategic reason that on the Hyundai side, they're going to have Santa Fe. And the pictures of the new Santa Fe, it looks fantastic. And then over at Kia, they have Sorento, so they have a bit of a grade walk. So it was always available with a third row of seats. Now they've just made it standard. Maybe it might just be that most people order it that way. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, because if you don't use the third row, you just fold them down and you get all that cargo space. I don't think it's that big a deal. But yeah, Sorento is a unique offering, as it really doesn't fit in a category. It's kind of into itself. What's your opinion about the ID4? Worth for buying it? Okay, we don't have the official pricing yet here for the Canadian market. In the US, there've been some grumblings. The prices have not been divulged, but from what I understand, speaking to the PR people from Volkswagen, is that they're going to be very aggressive. So the ID4, I should explain what it is the full electric Volkswagen utility that is going to be coming by next summer. so less than a year from now, there will be a fully electric Volkswagen utility sold. Don't think of it as a direct competitor for the Tesla Model Y. What Volkswagen wants to do is they want to compete with RAV4 and CR-V buyers, like hybrid buyers. So I think they're going to try and position it on price to compete with a sort of a well-equipped RAV4 hybrid or the CR-V hybrid that I mentioned we don't get in Canada, but they do get in the United States. So those vehicles, I'll pick Canadian dollars because I know them better. Like a RAV4 hybrid, nicely equipped, is pushing up to about $40,000. It would be really interesting to see if they could get the ID4 below that number. And it would be worth waiting to see what the final production is. There's only 2 trims. There's sort of like a base model and then a higher spec trim, and then there's 2 batteries. So a lower rated battery and a higher rated battery. So basically only 4 choices there. There is a video on the channel. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. But I think if you're if you're interested in going full electric, it certainly is going to be interesting to watch. There's also going to be the new Nissan. What's it called again? What's the new Nissan one called? The top of my head, I can't remember it. Here's the new Nissan full electric. There's the Ford, the Mustang that's coming out, and then we have the VW. So it's going to be interesting to see. Hey Zach, I saw Chrysler Crossfire a few days ago and thought the exterior design has really stood up well. Any other cars that aren't around anymore that you think look really sharp? Well, I can't, off the top of my head, I'd have to really think about it. But I agree with you. I like the Crossfire. That's a Mercedes-Benz platform. That's from back when it was Daimler Chrysler. And what was the SLK? With the SLK, is that what it was called? They used that platform to make the Crossfire. I agree with you. I think it looks pretty good. I think I like the convertible more than the coupe. I think the convertible's nice. Which company makes a better CVT, Honda or Nissan? Happy Thanksgiving. I would say Honda. Another happy Thanksgiving from Lethbridge, Alberta. Nice to have you here. Hopefully everybody had some turkey. Maybe you're like us, having round 2. They say it's the 4th Thursday in November. All right, there you go. The Queen's Half Corgi. Toyota offers CHR EV. CHR EV, Corolla and PHEV in China. Maybe some of these vehicles will make it to the Canadian market someday. Yes, I think, the CHR, I was thinking the CRV, but CHR is available as a hybrid. I think all bets are on the table. If you watched, we talked about it in both the Highlander and the Venza videos that came out last week, that Toyota has an ambitious plan to have every single vehicle that they sell available with some form of electrification. The basic being the hybrid, then the plug-in hybrid, then fuel cell and full battery electric vehicles. So I would suspect a vehicle like the CHR that's already sold as a hybrid in other markets would easily come here. If you look at the UX, the Lexus version of it, it's sold as a hybrid. So when they do some kind of update on that vehicle, more than likely you'll get all-wheel drive and you'll get hybrid. And that's probably what's going to be happening. More and more, they'll be able to pull from all of the vehicles that we don't get and bring them here. And you've got to remember, it's only 4 years. 2021 cars are already going on sale or on sale now. So it's 4 model years before they actually bring all of these vehicles to market. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada. There you go. Hey, Zach, after debating for months and watched a ton of reviews, I bought an 18 Tesla Model X 75D, chose it over the Audi e-tron. So far, it's been great. Very fun car. No regrets. Nice toy. There you go. Congratulations. You have asked that question a lot, which one you should get. I think that probably the depreciation on it is set in a little bit. The e-tron has only been out for about a year, so there's probably not that many around. Josh is back. Hey, Josh, nice to see you there in Montreal. I'm on the road, and I find my Infinity suspension quite rough, actually. What is a sedan or small, medium SUV with great smooth ride, but with get-up and go power? Geez, I want to think about that for a second. with get up and go power. If you want a smooth, quiet ride, the General Motors products do a very good job with that. But for the get up and go component, a car, oh, I got to think about that for a second. A small to medium SUV with a great smooth ride. You could go for like the Lincoln Aviator. Very, very smooth. Very smooth. If you get it with the air suspension. Not sure on your budget there. I'd have to think about that one a little bit longer. But I get a lot of people asking me for quiet and smooth. And I often will shoot them towards General Motors products because their products typically have very good suspension for rough roads, and they're typically quite quiet. So, you're a young guy, you're not going to be interested in driving a Buick, but a Buick would certainly do the job if that's your number one concern. A Lexus ES would be smooth and quiet. Yeah, stuff like that. Thanksgiving meal, turkey or ham? It's funny, we had this conversation last night. For us, it's turkey. My mother-in-law, not past Christmas, Christmas before, we went to her house for Christmas dinner, and she had a ham. And to say it was a flop would be an understatement. I like ham. I eat ham. I think it's great. But a lot of people turned up their nose at it. So ham isn't for everybody, but most people like turkey. Mark says, how reliable is hybrid and how long before you replace the battery? I'll talk about Toyota hybrid because Toyota is synonymous with hybrid. They sell the most hybrids. They've had the longest, is it the longest one? Actually, not quite, because the Honda Insight was actually introduced before the Prius. But anyway, they've had a very good long run. Toyota batteries now in their hybrids, the battery pack has now been extended to 10 years. So if you were to buy a Corolla hybrid, a Prius hybrid, a RAV4 hybrid, any of the new hybrids, it's a 10-year warranty on the battery. So if that's a worry for you, own the car for 9 years and 10 months and get rid of it. But if you're not aware, the very first hybrid taxi that was ever put into service was right here where I live in the city of Vancouver. And the Prius has been synonymous with taxi fleets ever since, not only here, but right around the world. And there are many stories of those batteries going a long, long, long way, over 1 million kilometers. So I wouldn't really worry about it. If you are worried about it, buy the car, keep it for less than the 10-year warranty, and then move it on if you're worried about it. And by the way, they just changed that last year. They added 2 more years to the warranty. Richard's here with a super chat. Happy Thanksgiving. Diesel or hybrid SUV? I do about 75% highway driving every day. Would you consider used German or North American SUV? I would say that hybrids typically get their best fuel economy in city driving, stop and go driving, because you need that regenerative braking to keep recharging the battery. If it was me and I was doing a lot of highway driving, it would be a no-brainer. It would be a diesel. So you have used German cars. So you have like the GLE or the ML for Mercedes-Benz, BMW X5, BMW X3. You have Audi Q5, Audi Q7, Porsche Cayenne. And then you get into the newer General Motors trucks. If you want to get a new 3-liter diesel, you can get them in the full size. But yeah, of those ones, the X5 is a good product. You have to always with these, of course, because they stopped selling them all in 2016. So now they're getting to be 4 or 5 years old. You want to find one that's been fully serviced, all the history, get it inspected, and all those sorts of things. We have a Cayenne diesel, and we like it so much that we're going to keep it long term because you can't buy another one. But the other one that you might want to consider, this might be interesting, is to look for the Mazda CX9 diesel that was sold last year. I think it's quietly being discontinued or will be discontinued. Not a powerhouse by any means. But if you're doing a lot of highway driving, it might be worth considering. And you'll be able to find one that's still brand new, and there will be a big discount on it. Okay, so consider that. I gotta find where I was here. Another happy Thanksgiving. Zach, what do you recommend between the Mazda CX-30, the HRV, and the Qashqai? I like the Qashqai. I think the Qashqai is really quite good. The CX-30 there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and the HRV is fine. I would look at the Kia Seltos as well, the Hyundai Kona, and even the Chevrolet Trailblazer. I have it outside today. It's going back tomorrow. That one actually surprised me. I quite liked it. But of those ones, of the ones you're thinking, I would say it's down to the CX-30 and the Qashqai. The Qashqai surprised me, actually. I really quite like it. But please try the Seltos and the Kona. And of those, it would be the Kona. Kona is just a runaway hit. They sell tons of them. Looking to buy winter tires for the first time for a city commute. Due to pandemic, I will skip transit. It's a must to buy another set of rims. How many seasons can I use these tires? Thanks. You know what? If you're in the city, okay, and you want to buy tires for the winter, there are tires that you can buy that you can mount them on one set of wheels and keep them on all year round. Okay, they're called all-weather tires. A few different brands. General Tire makes an all-weather tire. Nokian are the ones that pioneered the all-weather tire. Toyo makes a good all-weather tire called Celsius. I believe there's some others as well. So look up, instead of all-season tire, you want to look up all-weather tire. Okay, so they are actually have the winter tire rating. They're not going to be the same as having a straight winter tire, but if you're living in the city where the roads are cleaned fairly regularly and they put the salt down and all that kind of stuff, you can easily get by with a good all-weather tire. The most aggressive but also the most expensive of those is the Nokian, but the flip side of that, they can also be the noisiest in the summer. The Toyo Celsius tire gets a very good rating, not only for rain but for snow, and are quiet. So maybe those are two to look at. But that's, if you're considering it, here's a perfect example. We have a new Honda Civic in the family, and we've got all-season tires on there now that came with the car. They've had about 40,000 kilometers on them, and I'm going to get a set of Toyo Celsius tires and just keep them on there all year round. Any news on Seltos Hybrid? Not sure when it's coming. Subscriber sip. How many people? We have 200 people on and 62 likes and 4 thumbs down. Really? So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing the thumb up button, that would be really cool. There's no doubt Mazda CX9 raised the bar when it comes to design and interior fit and finishes. Do you think it's able to compare to new Highlander and Sorento? The thing about the CX9 is it got a different kind of shape to it. It's a very stylish utility, as you mentioned, beautiful inside. The rear cargo area and the third row of seats isn't as big as some others, but it is definitely going to be comparable to Sorento, because Sorento, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in now, is a sort of what we call a tweener in between categories. So not as big as the Highlander, but probably very competitive with the upcoming Sorento. I think the CX9 is a really good product, especially the higher trims where you get that really nice interior. So give them all a shot and pick the one you like. The Highlander certainly is going to be bigger. Hello from Seattle. Good to see you, sir. And I'm glad you're here from Seattle. I'm not sure if you caught it earlier, but Jack, my son, is a huge Seahawks fan, so he's over the moon with the win yesterday. Happy Thanksgiving. Would you wait for a new Mark 8 GTI next summer or pick up a current Mark 7? This is what I would do, honestly. I would maybe get a 2-year lease on a GTI. You'll have it for 1 year, so the GTI will be coming, late summer, early fall next year. And then you drive your Mark 7 for one more year and let the craziness in the market move its way out, because you know there's going to be all kinds of frantic buying and people lining up to get that first GTI. If you wait a year, that settles down. You'll be able to get you'll be able to even order the car you want with the color combination, all those sorts of things. You'll be able to see them and what you like and don't like, say wheels, tires, packages, and color combinations. Now, you're not going to be the first guy on the block to have the car, but you still have a great car, and then you could roll right into one when the sort of frenetic buying frenzy passes. That might not be a bad way to go. The current Mark 7 is a great car. It is a great car. Regards from Mexico. Nice to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Mike, question from Oakville. Hope you enjoy your turkey with the family. I know the next gen Porsche Macan will be EV. However, I read that they will still offer gas. Does that sound right? Thanks. I'm not sure if there's going to be in tandem, but yes, it's been announced that the next fully electric vehicle to come from Porsche will be that Macan. I think it's going to be built alongside the gasoline version. And think about the Audi e-tron. Okay, so the Audi e-tron. So they have a different electrical system in the e-tron versus the Taycan. So look at that package from Audi as the basis for the next Macan EV. And it's probably going to be coming not that far away. We have another super chat here. TK Porsche, cheers. And here's to the Peroni. I'll say cheers to that, friend. Nice one. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Updated Q5 arriving this month. How will it compare with BMW X3, assuming each is packaged with their mid-range options? Well, I have to get in there and have a look at it, but you have to know that the Q5 is just that. It's just an update. All right, it's an updated Q5, mostly cosmetics and exterior and interior features. But yeah, not going to be an all-new vehicle. So still, technically, the X3 is a newer car. But when it's here and we can look at all the different trims, then we can decide which one you like better. Happy Thanksgiving. When are you reviewing the TLX? Let me open my calendar here. We get it next week. There you go, next week. Not this week, next week. Yeah, so it'll be out in a couple weeks. Hi, Zach. I've been looking for a used 17750 Li with all options. I have found one with 29,000 kilometers for 59,000 Canadian. Is the engine last me for 4 or 5 years? Any issues with the V8? What you want to be considering here is the fact that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Okay, so what you're looking at here is a 750. That's the big dog in the BMW lineup. And it just continues to depreciate at an incredibly fast rate. So there's nothing wrong. I think the car would be totally fine. You're going to get one that's 3 years old. If you're getting one that's 3 years old, it will be coming from a dealership that should be giving you the certified pre-owned warranty, getting you up to 6 years of warranty with that car. But what I would suggest is that really think long and hard about that car, because the depreciation on it is astronomical. So you're going to turn your $60,000 into $30,000 in about 2 years, just so you're aware of that. Okay, and if you don't believe me, go to CanadianBlackBook.com and do they have a forward calculator that predicts the value of the car down the road, and you'll see for yourself. So one thing you might want to consider is maybe a 550. It's still going to depreciate very quickly, but nothing like the 7 Series. Just something to think about. West Coast is saying hit the like button. Yeah, we're up to over 100 now. So if you could like give it a thumbs up, that'd be great. What about Major League Baseball playoffs? I don't really follow much in the way of baseball. Yeah, the Blue Jays are deep into the playoffs, yeah, but that's about it. Hey Zach, which SUV is durable, also safest in case of accidents happen? Well, you know what? When it comes to safety and accidents, size, the ladies will tell you this, size matters. The bigger you are, the safer you're going to be. So if you're in a big truck, a big SUV, you have more stuff around you to protect you. But if you're looking at just a crossover vehicle, you know, most of them are going to be very safe, like the German import brands. Volvo is one you could consider. A lot of vehicles are very safe now. But if your number one concern is overall safety, then the bigger, the better. Do you have faith that Fiat Chrysler and French automaker will be successful, or just another Daimler Chrysler situation? Stellantis. Someone joked about Stellantis sounds like an erectile dysfunction medication. I don't know. I mean, I would hope that there's some lessons to have been learned from these past mistakes. I would say there's probably a pretty good chance. You know, now that Sergio Marchionne has passed away 2 years ago, he would have been a really good guy to champion that because he's so integrated into the European marketplace. But they have some pretty smart people there. And anyway, I don't really know. I think probably they're going to be fine. I think the real problem was the German-American integration didn't go well. So I think the French-American might be a little bit better. And they can sit around and have their freedom fries. Are you excited about the Mazda CX-30 Turbo coming out at the end of the year? Yes, I am. I got an email saying that there were new Mazdas available to test drive. An email back right away and it said, are these the new turbos? And not yet. But when we get a chance to drive them, we will. Oh, I already did that one. Amen on Zach's e-vehicle comments. What did I say? I can't remember. That's like 5 minutes ago. Hey, Zach, when I go for a long drive, a lot of dead bugs get stuck on my radiator, and since it's hot, they kind of toast. The garage stinks the whole night. Is there a way out? You could open up the hood, and you could hose them out. You could try that. Probably the best way to do it is with compressed air. So garages have their air, the air guns they use for taking wheels off and stuff like that. They can spray the compressed air through the radiator to get it out. You can buy a can of compressed air, but if it's really bothering you, probably a hose. Just get a hose. Don't go too hard at it, but you can hose them down. Are you wearing a Submariner today? I'm rocking my Tudor Blackbay 36. Would a Subaru BRZ or Volkswagen GTI go better with my Blackbay? Okay. So yes, good eye. I am wearing a Submariner today, but it is like yours. It's a Tudor Submariner. So this is from the middle of the 1990s. This is one of my favorite watches. I have two Tudor Submariners, one from the 70s. No, sorry. Yeah, one from the 70s and one from the 90s. What would go better with your Blackbay? By the way, the Tudor Blackbay 36, that's a real cool watch. Nice size. I would say GTI. There you go. Love watching your... Oh, by the way, I got a new watch. I wore it the other day. No one noticed. I got a new watch. I have to do a video on it for my other channel, which is about watches. But yeah, it's in the safe. I have a safe. And I do have a safe. It's a funny story. I wanted a safe that I could put all my watches in. I've got quite a few watches. And I was in Costco in the United States in Charlotte, I believe it was. And my colleague Brian Chow and I, who we drive together all the time, whenever we're done shooting for the day, we love to go to Costco, whatever town we're in. And it's amazing when you go to a Costco, and we've been to Costco's all over North America. And this one was in Charlotte. And we went in there, and this was a really fancy one. They had Michael Kors bags. They had Rolex watches. It was really fancy. And then I came across this gun safe. It's like a box, I'll do it like it's about that by that. And then it has a biometric. You put your finger on it, and then it opens. So what it's really meant is in your nightside table, Americans probably know this, you have this box, and you put your gun in it. And so I looked at that, and I thought, it's a gun safe. Well, I'll just put watches in it. And it's been absolutely perfect. When I went through security at the airport to come home, I bought this thing. This is big metal thing. And of course, the security system scanner looks at it and goes, "Oh, we got to check this out." So the woman's pulling it out of my bag, and she opens the box, and she goes, "Oh, I've got the same one next to my bed." I'm like, "Yeah, that's America for you." Oh, there you go. So that's what I do. That's where I keep my watches, in the safe. Love watching your video reviews. Planning on getting a midsize SUV this year. Which one do you recommend? CX5 or RAV4? Okay, just so you know, they are not midsize. That is compact. So let's go through this because it's worth unboxing. The new sort of subcompact utilities are called small. Okay, that's the Seltos, the Kona, the Trailblazer, the Venue, and so on. All of those little ones, the Nissan Kicks, those are what are called small utilities. And then you go up from that to compact. That's CRV, RAV4, CX5, all of those. Mid-size is Pilot, Highlander, the sort of three-row utilities. And then full-size are the, Escalade, the Tahoe. That's kind of how it goes. And you have some that sort of straddle in between. So your question is, which compact utility do you recommend, CX5 or RAV4? I think CX5, if you can afford the higher priced trims that have the turbocharged engine, that's a no-brainer. Get that. You'll like it. I see the end of manual transmission, shifting transmissions. I'm old school and still rocking a 6-speed manual. What are your thoughts? Yeah, they're quickly going away, like really quickly going away. There's always going to be a few brands that will embrace manual transmissions on selected cars, but that's really what it's going to come down to. It's going to be just on select models. For example, we talked about the GTI and the Golf R a little while ago. It has been confirmed when those vehicles come, they are going to be available with manual transmissions. That's great news. Honda has committed to the manual for Civic, and they just got rid of it for the Accord, but that's one we're going to have to watch. Mazda with the MX-5, the Miata, manual transmission. Porsche is still offering manual transmissions in their cars, but the high-performance ones, they went to just automatics and now have put manuals back in. So it's going to be really specific to sporty sort of cars, and at least they're going to be available. That's the good news. Talking about what we have at the different holidays. Christmas is a goose. I don't know anybody that eats a Christmas goose. I mean, those reminds me of those old sort of English tales, but yeah. Hey, Zach, if you had 55 to 65 and was looking for an SUV, what would you choose and why? I have one kid and maybe one more coming, so hoping to upsize to an SUV in a year or two. I'm gonna save you some money. If I was buying a vehicle today and you have one kid, I would get an Audi Q3. That's what I would get. And fully loaded, it's going to be under 50. That's what I would pick. It's basically the Volkswagen Golf GTI engine with an SUV wrapped around it. And that's a good vehicle. Do you think that Kia will bring an 11-passenger Sedona to the U.S.? 11-passenger, huh? No, I don't. Will there be a Highlander Prime? Nothing confirmed, but if I was going to Vegas and putting a bet on it, I would bet on it. Boston Ma's here. Hey, Zach. Boston, where you been, brother? We missed you. He sent in a great picture of his GTI not too long ago. Claudio, Thanksgiving from Montreal, looking for my wife. What do you recommend? See, we went through this one. All right. Mike C. Seltos, the Freshmaker. That's funny. What was that? What's the name of that? The FCA company? Yeah, it sounds like an erectile dysfunction pill. Do you recommend selling a car before the odometer reaches a certain number? This is a very good question. I wonder what the psychology is on mileage versus specific make model. This is a very good question. I would suggest that 100,000 kilometers in Canada is a psychological number. And for some people, it's well-deserved because a lot of cars that have a timing belt right at the 100,000 kilometer mark is where you have to do that major service. And on some cars, it can be quite expensive. There's nothing to say that a car with 90,000 kilometers is going to be any more reliable than one with 110. It just isn't the case. But there is a psychological barrier. If you're going to sell a car, I would strongly recommend selling it before you hit that magic number. I'm not sure if it's the same in the United States, if it's 100,000 miles, which is 160,000 kilometers here, but any Americans can chime in. Is a 3 or 4 year old Cayenne V6 a reliable vehicle? Absolutely. Now, you have to get it inspected by someone that knows Porsches, or buy it from a Porsche dealer with an extended warranty. And if you're buying a 3-year-old one, you can get it extended for another 3 years. The most reliable Cayenne is the V6. It's the old, for that generation of Cayenne, is the old VR6 engine. A real workhorse, not efficient, know that going in. It's not going to be the fuel sipper of the fleet, that's for sure. They do like gasoline, but a really well put together car that can have, issues like every used high-end German car, but of that family, it's the V6 is very reliable. So my advice is look for one that comes either from a dealership that has offered it already with a certified pre-owned warranty, or buy one that that already has it. Okay, and buy it and drive it and love it. They are very good cars. I got 4 thumbs down still. Come on, you guys can do better than that. 126 thumbs up. I'm moving on from my Micra. Can you recommend a car for a single guy in his 30s for daily commute with some weekend trips? I'm considering a Seltos or a Qashqai. I don't think I spelled that right. I've been covering the Qashqai for 4 years. I still don't know how to spell it. Every single time I have to look it up. It's when they brought that car out in the United States, they said, screw it. We're not going to call it Qashqai. We're going to call it Rogue Sport. Probably was a better move. Now, between those two, Seltos or Qashqai, if you can afford the high-end Seltos with the turbo engine, that would be the one to choose. There are 2 in the Kona family. So Kona has a 1.6, but available only on 2 trims. And then there's the 1.6 turbo and Seltos, but only available on 1 trim. I do like the Qashqai. I find it's a very nicely done interior. The cabin is simple. There's nothing fancy about it, but it's got some nice soft touch materials in there. I think the cabin interior has better materials than you get with the Kia and the Hyundai. But yeah, if you get the higher end trims with the turbo engine in the Kia cousins, you don't get a continuously variable transmission, which, a lot of people dislike. So check it out. See what you think. Hey, Zach, my current is a 05 Corolla. Should I upgrade to a 2021 hybrid or buy a Miata as a second car? The hybrid cars don't have restrictions in my city. Gas cars do. Well, I can't speak for your particular area, but if you're having to deal with restrictions, the new Corolla Hybrid is a very good car. I prefer it over the Prius. I think they did a very good job with it. It handles quite well. The torque off the line, initial torque, is pretty good. But that's my options are a Corolla Hybrid or a Miata. Well, I'm going to choose a Miata all day long. But if it comes down to convenience on where you live and those sorts of things, then you have to consider that. Thoughts on the updated Accord 2021? I have a 19 Touring 2-liter T and love it. I think you're talking about, yeah, I there's not really any difference between those two. I think it's nothing really has changed. It's only been out for, it's 3 years, only 3 years old. Happy Thanksgiving from Ontario. I have a rural and snowy commute. Recommendations for new fairly manual transmission all-wheel drive. Options seen Golf R. Okay, you know what? You're barking up the right tree here. One vehicle I want you to try and find, and you might actually be able to find still a brand new one. Okay, is an all-wheel drive Volkswagen Golf Sport Wagon or an all-track. So they made a whole bunch of them as 2019s, and some dealers still have 2019 models as brand new cars. So a Golf R would certainly be good. An STI would be good. A 3 and 4 Series for sure. But for a snowy commute, yeah, I would say probably the most comfortable would be a Golf R. But I would really consider the Volkswagen Sport Wagon all-wheel drive. And you get 200 pound-feet of torque. You get the 2-liter, yeah, and you get, I believe it's the dual clutch on the all-road. Might not be a bad way to go. When will you review the Chevy Trailblazer? The Trailblazer is parked in front of the house, so we're a couple of weeks behind from what we shoot. So next Saturday is the Civic Sport, the hatchback. The week after that will be Trailblazer. This coming week, let me just do a quick update of some of the cars coming up. This coming week, we get the Porsche Cayenne Coupe. We also get the Buick Encore, which is the Chevy Trailblazer, but in Buick. I'm going to do just a quick video on what the differences are. Nothing too in-depth on that. The following week, we get the Volvo XC90 and the Acura TLX. And then we get the Dodge Challenger with the wide body on it that looks like the Hellcat. Then we get the Wrangler. Then we get the CLA or the GLA. I'm trying to remember. And then in November, we get the Taycan, which is going to be a lot of fun. So lots of cool cars coming. That's what's coming down the line. Hello, very nice show and always a good job on the reviews. My question, when will we see the Kia Sedona? In Korea, it's called Carnival, and the van looks awesome. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when it's going to come for here. But yes, good question. I can ask. Zach, would a Mercedes C43 AMG wagon have a higher resale value than a C43 sedan because of how rare they are? I would say down the road, yes. So what you want for resale value is something that wasn't widely available but is sought after. Okay, I owned a 5 Series BMW station wagon. An E34, the very first one that was ever sold here in Canada. And I went to sell it, and it was the only one for sale in Canada. There were none other. And the guy came to the house, and he looked at the car. And my cars are always like mint shape when I sell them. And he says, oh, you know, I could buy a Passat wagon, and it's like $5,000 less. And I said, go ahead. Go buy a Passat wagon. He says, well, can't you just drop it like $5,000 for me? I said, no. I said, there's one of these cars for sale in the country, and it's sitting right there. If you want it, this is the price I'm asking for it. And I ended up getting my price. I would suggest that, yes, it is not sold in higher numbers. And the other thing is, 3 Series is no longer available as a touring, as a station wagon. There's going to be a new C-Class coming in the next, probably 8 months, okay? Will Mercedes-Benz all of a sudden follow suit with the United States and drop the C-Class wagon? Because it's only available in Canada. So we are this island having the C-Class wagon. So if they get rid of it and you have one, there's going to be guys like you and like me who want one. I don't like the C43 as much as I like the regular C300. I just think the ride is really choppy. And but if you like it and you love it, get it. But yeah, it's a cool car. At what point do we abandon anything but a hybrid or electric? Seems that for the most folks that hybrids are the way to go until electrics mature and come down in price. Absolutely. I have been saying this loud and clear as long as I can remember. For the vast majority of people, a hybrid vehicle is going to be more than enough. And if you want to go that next step, a plug-in hybrid, you know, you get a vehicle like the RAV4 Prime, or there's going to be an updated Outlander plug-in hybrid. There's going to be more and more vehicles coming that have, you know, anywhere from 50 to 80 kilometers of electric range. I think that really is the right way to go. Most people can drive on electricity, and then you have the range if you need it, and you don't have the crazy prices you have to pay for battery or electric vehicles. There is a compromise, and people have to give up something. So, yeah, that is the way to go, in my opinion. Jason, why don't we see any diesel hybrids? The instant torque, even better fuel economy. Diesels are gone away. I remember being at the Detroit Auto Show years ago, and this is when they started talking about hybrids and what have you. And I asked one of the German executives there, I said, isn't the sweet spot what you're talking about, a hybrid and a diesel? You've got this ultimately efficient diesel engine and a very efficient hybrid system. And he said, yes, they're developing it. Well, they never followed through with it. And he said the hardest part for us is the turning on and off of the gasoline engine, or the diesel engine. They wanted it to be smooth, that they could, you know, classify it as a Mercedes-Benz product. He said, we haven't been able to smooth out the switching on and off of the diesel engine like they can with the gasoline engine. I would suspect now with the new 48-volt systems that they have in cars that enable them to do this, it probably could be done and make it a lot smoother. But the marketplace and the appetite for diesel vehicles, especially in North America, has all but disappeared. Excuse me, especially in the United States. What do you think about the new BMW M3 and M4? Well, they look kind of ridiculous, don't they? With the big beaver teeth. But I almost guarantee you, once it's been on the road, and we've seen them for like 6, 8, 10 months, you're going to kind of look at the existing car and go, that looks old and dated. I don't know what they're up to at BMW with these oversized grills. But they want to stand out at least. I think it looks a bit crazy myself, but once we see them on the road and you kind of get used to seeing them, I almost guarantee you're going to look at the existing car and go, that looks really kind of dated, and the new one looks funky and fresh. I don't know. We'll see. Zach, when I see minivans, their looks, when I see minivans, the looks so nice and updated, but the Dodge Caravan looks dated. Is there an update for the all-new VW minibus in the Canadian market? No. If we're going to get an electric, if we get a van, it's going to be the full electric. The Dodge Caravan has been discontinued. We just have the Pacifica now. That's what we're getting. Jackson Poon, 997.2 or 991.1. Which one would you choose? It really depends on what one you're talking about. If you're talking like the base model, I would take the turbo in the 991. If you're talking about an S, the 997 might be kind of cool. I just want to go through some of these because I'm going to say goodbye here in a second. We're over an hour now, and the only thing between me and leftover turkey and mashed potatoes is this chat. So as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to go and get that going. Is it possible to see your wife in a bikini? It is possible, but highly unlikely. I get to see her in a bikini. Stop being a creep. That's pretty good advice. And then, yep. Oh, man. There you go. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I will chat with you next Monday. Enjoy in Canada the rest of your long weekend. I will chat with you. There's a bunch of videos. As I mentioned, tomorrow, the Volkswagen Taos is dropping. That's the new small utility from Volkswagen. On Wednesday is going to be the all-new Acura MDX. A lot of interest in that vehicle. Later in the month, I'm going to get a chance to drive the new GV80 from Genesis. And if you haven't subscribed to Car Cost Canada, surf over there and use the promo code Motormouth, the name of the channel, and become an expert member. All right, there you go. I will chat with you next Monday, and stay safe, everybody. Take it easy.